I know who you once were, Sky Commander. Join me, and we can regain your former glory. What? Sky Commander? The heck are you talking about? My name's Starscream. It's always been Starscream. I'm not going by anything else. I've never gone by anything else. Ask my brothers. They know it. They absolutely do. What? No, that can't be right. My intel clearly says that you are Sky Commander, and the Decepticon spy network is always correct. Yeah, well, there's a first time for everything, and I gotta say, I know no Skies, no Commanders. It is just me, Starscream, nothing else, no. And why would I even want to join somebody like you who can't even get the right information? You dare to question Megatron? No, my information is true. You simply do not remember your own history. I don't remember my own history? That's ridiculous. I may be trapped in this space station for years, but I definitely know who I am. I definitely know. Sure you do. Yes, clearly. No. You're going to join the Decepticons, and you're going to like it. Oh, forget you. I'll be the true Decepticon leader, you know? I'll join and take over. How you like that? Huh? Great. This is gonna be a thing now, and it's gonna be irritating. Hello to anyone and everyone who has decided to watch this. Today we are looking at the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Starscream. A very controversial figure. A figure that had a lot to prove. And you know what? I think he proved it. I think he did it. I think this is the toy that surprised us and showed us that we really gotta stop judging things based off those leaked photos. Because this is a good toy. And admittedly, I never had that old deluxe one that they did for Fall of Cybertron. And in jet mode, I think that one does look more screen accurate. Like, this one is a bit long, very long, but it still looks really good, and I just think this toy is really fun. And honestly, of the 6 Gamer Edition figures, maybe my favorite, which says a lot, because Starscream, not my favorite character, but I want everybody from that first game, because I just love that first game. And, a couple others from the other games, just because I always gotta get my favorite characters. And my boy Hot Rod was in the DS version, and only the DS version, so if they make a toy of him, I have to get it. But yeah, I do really like this jet mode, even if it's a bit long. I think, as you saw this mace pop off of him, I think this hanging off the side of it looks kind of goofy. And so does the null ray, but other than that, I mean, this is this jet. It had tiny wings, tiny little wings that weren't going to help it, but I mean, it's clearly a space jet, so it didn't need it. It could just hover in place like this. Like, it literally did this in the game, so it could go forwards, backwards, up, down. Like, it didn't need wings. So why give it giant wings when it only had tiny wings in the game anyway? Like, really, the only flaws here is I do feel it's a little long, and everybody has pointed out that this cockpit does look odd. But a pretty decent Starscream jet. I like it a lot. Like, honestly, the thing about this design that's cool is, well, one, I actually think the muted tones of the game work really well for Starscream, because he's always looked too bright and colorful for a villain, because when you think about it, Starscream is in a lot of ways more evil than Megatron, but the problem is that he's an idiot and he doesn't know how to do anything, but his ambitions are so much worse. So he really it's odd how much he always looks like the bright, colorful character that you can hug and stuff, with all his bright whites and reds and blues looking like the American flag. But this irradiates the evil that he truly is. And I also like how this feels like an amalgamation of G1 Starscream and the Cybertron Starscream, which was my first Starscream. So, I don't know how intentional it is. I think this is just trying to emulate the War Within comics. But, I mean, that makes him look like Cybertron Starscream anyway, because that was also trying to invoke War Within. And that's mostly everything I have to say about the jet mode. I also just wanted to point out the backdrop that all these Studio Series figures come with. I don't really care about these, but I think it's funny that he comes with the first level. Because, I mean, he's in it. Like, the whole point of this level was that Starscream was the captain of this base the Decepticons were invading, and Megatron recruits him to his side at the end. But I just think it's funny that they included this level again instead of the one Starscream was actually playable in. But yeah, let's just get this out of here. And yeah, Starscream, he's a jet. He goes whoosh, 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 but he also goes. Now, let's look at his robot mode. Whoosh! Here he is. And honestly, it's looking really good. It's looking really good. Like, everybody was upset about this. This chest looking all bigger than it should be and having basically no paint except for this little bit up here. But honestly, in person, it looks good. Like, it looks like Starscream. It works. It works really well. And yeah, it's just really nice how sharp and angular he is. And it just has that Starscream feel. And I mean, I could be biased, because I mean, I love that first game. Second game's good too, not as good as the first one. So I played that level with Starscream so many times. I shot him down in that Autobot level where he's a boss fight so many times. So I just know this Starscream. And I mean, it's not perfect. Like, I don't care for the way the weapons store on the back. I'm glad he has the option. But it looks a little silly, and also these things love to roll back a lot, his wings, and you could probably notice his toes fold in for transformation, and they love to fold back in. And I can't pull them back out like this. So we're just gonna leave him standing like that. But, you know, he still just looks good. He feels good. He feels like a step up from those previous 5. And those previous 5 were great. Now, looking at the weapons, he's got his club melee thing, because I guess every Voyager in this Gamer Edition line is going to have their melee weapon. I mean, aside from Barricade, so far every figure in this line has had the melee weapon. It's in 2 pieces, like Megatron's, and the top bit is a softer rubber, and because of that, it got a little warped, as you can see in the packaging. And to be honest, I don't like this. I liked Megatron having his. I definitely liked Optimus having his axe too, but I'm not too into Starscream having the melee weapon, especially because this means Skywarp and Thundercracker will also come with the melee weapon, because they didn't change Cliffjumper's weapons to match the second game. I don't think they're going to change Thundercracker and Skywarp to have their default guns instead, because it'd be cooler, especially for Thundercracker, because he had 2 default guns like Starscream, because Starscream had this, his little old null ray sniper rifle, but he also had the assault rifle. And Thundercracker was the same way. He had the sniper rifle and the healing gun. And Skywarp only had the assault rifle. So. And a nice thing about this Starscream is they responded to the criticisms. So he can hold the gun in his hand. Just like a regular gun. And it looks great. It looks fine. It looks a little bit better. But of course, he does still have the game-accurate removable arm attachment. And to be honest, this does look good too. This looks good with this gun. Specifically with this gun. He looks good having this gun for his arm, because if we put the other weapons on him, we can see the pistol. It also looks a little decent. It fits pretty fine, but if we bring in the plasma rifle, it looks a little tiny, looks a little weird on this long arm assemblage. It's also very loose, very loose. His other default weapon, the assault rifle from Barricade, again, looks way too long on this arm and is loose as heck. The Ion Blaster is also kind of loose, but the cradle around it fits it on pretty well. And he actually looks pretty good with this gun. Looks pretty decent. And then if we bring in Megatron and just drop in pieces, bring on the fusion cannon. I mean, this just looks silly. Yeah, this doesn't work that great. But, you know, if you want to do it with his gun, the sniper rifle, null ray, because that is what we know our Starscreams to be using for their shooting, I think it looks alright. But he has the same problem that Barricade, Bumblebee, and Cliffjumper and Megatron have. The problem only Optimus fixes, which can't put that detached arm anywhere. Thankfully, he doesn't need it, because he can just hold the gun in his hand instead. But it is still nice that they at least kept the game-accurate feature. Sure, it is very nice to see it still here. I'm glad we still got it, but I don't think I'm using it for this Starscream again. And now, got his feet back folded out, his arm put back on. And you can see him holding the mace. How this looks, it feels too big. Which has kind of been a problem with... It was kind of a problem with Megatron's mace, too. Bring in Megatron here for some mace comparisons. Both big, spiky, and purple, ready to crush Autobots with. And... yeah, I also just don't really like it for Starscream. I don't like it. It's the worst thing about him, really, not because it's bad, it's not what I want him using. Because, I mean, we've seen Starscream go all melee in the Unicron trilogy with swords and stuff. But I don't want him swinging this around, and I don't want Skywarp and Thundercracker swinging this around. But, you know, if Starscream comes with it, they'll come with it. But one thing I do think makes it look better, much like how I have Megatron, when I have him holding the mace, I have him do it underslung like this. You can use the storage ports for Starscream to hold it like this, sideways. And this feels more like true to the game, since they were always smashing it down. Like, that's how the melee animation for these things worked. So you'd be like, I rule the Decepticons now, Megatron! Ah! And, like, this just feels more true. I think it looks a little better this way, because it just extending from the arm, feeling like it's part of the arm, than being this giant pylon. I keep using that word. just this giant stick that he's holding from the bottom when it feels like he should be holding it from the center. So if he's going to have this weapon, I like him holding it like this. And his foot went in again. Let's see if we can use the null ray to pry it out. There we go. That way he can stand right. Give him his gun and see? This actually makes him look really good. He looks really nice. Like, it doesn't matter that his chest is unpainted or that when we first saw him these things were detached because they're not on him in the packaging to prevent breakage or theft. Like, he just looks so good. He's a good-looking Starscream. And if we put him with Lord Megatron and bring in Barricade here, we got a nice-looking, growing group of... Okay, Barricade, come in closer. We got a nice-looking group of growing Decepticons from this game that so many of us Transformers fans love. And it's really cool. It's cool, especially for someone like me, who's not the biggest Starscream fan, and I feel like most of my Starscream toys come from obligation, because he's just so big and important. But, like, this Starscream feels like more than that, because I was going to skip this guy, because I was worried about him. I was going to skip this guy and go back and get that old deluxe, but people kept saying he was good. He was better than the pictures made him seem. So I gave him the chance, and I think he's won. This is the Starscream that won. The Starscream that proved the fans wrong. And that's awesome. I really am happy to have him. And even though the mace isn't my favorite thing ever, I'm just gonna get those repaints. I gotta get my boy Thundercracker, and I'm definitely gonna get Skywarp, because I gotta complete that first game cast. And I'm also shocked if we see the leak listings how fast we're getting those repaints. Because I only just realized that we don't have Skywarp with this mold, the Bumblebee movie mold. We're like apparently only just getting Skywarp again if you check the leak listings, which is shocking because that mold's so old. And this one just debuted, and we're apparently getting those guys already. And by already, I mean next year, but still. And I can't wait because we've seen Sideswipe, we've seen the images, and he looks so good, and I always played as Sideswipe in that one level, so I'm happy to get Sideswipe. And we know we're getting Ratchet and Ironhide. Can't wait to see how they turn out. We're also getting the generic Troopers. Those ones I'm going to skip. Save some money. I don't need generics, but I'm glad to see this game getting some new love, because that game is one of my favorite Transformers things, and I'm trying to prioritize my collecting to save more money towards the things that I love the most and mean the most to me. And I might get a few outliers here and there, but I want to focus on the most important parts of Transformers to me, and this game was definitely part of that. And I'm so glad that this Starscream beat the odds, beat the fan assumptions, and gave us something new to love for this character and for this game. And he really makes me hopeful for the future. And let's just take one more look at this big, beautiful, scary-looking face. He's a good Starscream. A really good Starscream. If you love the guy, if you love the game, I think this is a figure you should try to hunt down. And that's really all I have to say. So, thanks for watching. See ya around.
I know who you once were, Sky Commander. Consider
Dang it, Megatron. Get your lines right, Megatron. Get your lines right.